Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you guys for tuning back in. If you guys are familiar with my last video, then you guys know that we are diagnosing this motor here, and that is out of the H series parts car that we just parted out. So if you guys seen that video, awesome. Thank you guys for tuning back in. If you guys haven't seen that video, then you guys need to go watch that video first so you guys kind of understand what we're dealing with here. All right, guys, so I do have the transmission off, and literally, guys, the transmission was only held on by these two bolts, one being the bolt that goes through the starter, and then the other one was over here. And also, guys, look at this. That doesn't look right, does it? Look at that. Clutch has left the chat, guys. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get you guys set up on a tripod right here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this clutch assembly so we can get this thing on an engine stand, so I can further diagnose why this thing doesn't have compression in cylinder one. Looking at this thing, I just realized that the intake manifold is literally only held on by one bolt. I'll show you guys once we get this thing disassembled a little bit more. Oh, wow.
Oh, BD, oh, what it is? Oh, DD, what?
Look at that. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Wow.
Catastrophic damage. Catastrophic. Yeah, that thing is garbage. All right, guys, got our 17 millimeter 12-point socket here. First things first, guys, I'm gonna pop this valve cover off here. The first thing we're gonna do on this thing, guys, is I'm gonna check the timing. The timing belt was really loose. If you guys want to see where this motor came from, if you guys haven't seen already, hop on over to the other parts car video that I got this motor out of. This thing didn't have any compression in cylinder one. James, I'm gonna give you your ignition wires back. As you can tell, there's a lot of condensation in this thing. Fuel rail, and if you guys are familiar with the channel, you guys know that I do a little bit of powder coating where this thing's kind of aged out. If I can't get this cleaned up real nice, I'm thinking about just re-powder coating this whole thing. So here's our intake manifold. All right, guys, I figured I'd just look in here real fast at all these valves. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. Oh, there we go. What is that? On the bright side, it doesn't look that beat up. So hopefully it wasn't getting caught in between the valve and the valve seat. All right, guys, so I don't know if you guys noticed this. The spring supposed to be on this was actually laying in the bottom of all this. This thing does have a manual timing belt tensioner. Belt is pretty loose, so just gonna go ahead and slide this balance shaft belt off. That is top dead center. Well, I guess we'll see what that means. All right, guys. Well, that's where I'm going to leave it for tonight. I do have to get up early in the morning. I got to go to work tomorrow. With that being said, guys, tomorrow, right after work, I'm gonna come home and I'm going to hop right back into this thing. One thing that crossed my mind looking at this thing, I don't know how it got in the intake track. I don't even know what that really looks like. We're going to break into it tomorrow and really find out what's going on with this thing. I have this tool here. Actually, one of my buddies made me a long time ago, and I'm actually just now using it for the first time, so that's pretty cool. But I do have this on top dead center, as you can tell. So I have the air compressor set at 50 PSI. So we're going to see, in theory. Okay, and I definitely hear, definitely air coming from the intake side. So yeah, I'm believing we have a bent valve here. Let's go ahead and pop this bracket off and let's pull this head off. Let's see if the piston's all right. And if it is, I mean, I have a couple other heads laying around here. We could definitely slap on here and get this thing back running if that's all that's wrong with it. Now, the piston could have damage. You know, we did have the foreign object in the intake runner. It's kind of hard telling. So let's pull this. I'm going to throw you guys back on the tripod, put you guys back in the time lapse. Let's tear into this thing here. All right, guys, so we got the head off the block here. FRM liners, if you guys are H-Series guys, you guys appreciate that. These things are really clean. And then we come back to cylinder one, man, and look at the piston. And this was the cylinder that we seen the foreign object in as well. The rest of these cylinders are actually really clean. This one right here, however, is not. So look at you guys can tell the piston difference here. That's not good, guys. So basically this block is pretty trash. The crank does feel good. I mean, unless you were going to sleeve it, which I do have some sleeves, but I'm probably just going to strip this motor completely of all its parts, crank, all the gears and whatnot, because I do have a couple other blocks, and that block there actually needed sleeves as well, and I'd rather use that one, just to be honest, because this one has some stripped out alternator holes, which isn't a big deal. You know, of course we can heli-cool them guys, but yeah. So the cylinder head on cylinder one is pretty trash there, guys. All the other ones look dirty, but fine, of course, you know. But this one here, no good. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this engine. I'm pretty sure for now, I know I'm just going to strip it. Just going to strip it all down, pull the crank out. I might actually clean this motor up, put the head back on the block, and I might actually use this as a display motor. That might actually be what I do with this thing. I don't know, guys. Let's get it stripped down and let's see what this crank looks like. I do have a store on eBay. I will throw that in the description. So for any of all these little parts that I do pull, I do also have 2 sets of Type S cams. Well, hold on, back up. So I do have 1 set of Type S cams for sure. I haven't measured these new ones yet, but I do have another set that I'm going to put on the eBay store. And I do also have a bunch of other things I'm going to throw on the eBay store as well. But guys, I will be having a video coming out on gutting the H22 intake manifold. That's a cheap mod. It doesn't really cost you anything but some Dremel bits and or Sawzall blades or oscillating bits, whichever that you choose to use. Anyway, we'll get into that. I'm going to have a video dropping on that. That's going to be a good video. So if you guys are H-Series guys, definitely check this video out, as well as any other video that I have that you should do, because you should be subscribed and you should have that bell hit, so you should be notified every time that I upload, so this should be a given. But if not, it's all good. We're going to keep grinding. Alright guys, so here we have the crank out. It's over here, excuse the mess here, but it's actually in really good shape, surprisingly. All the bearings look good. Some of them fell off. I do try to keep them matched to the connecting rods that they came out of, but like I said, some of them fell out. You can see that they were starting to wear for sure, but I mean, overall, looks really solid there. So this will definitely make for a good spare crank. We will keep this thing around, and if I ever need it, I'll send it off and get it spec'd out and make sure everything's all good and use it again. So that's a really good find there, guys. And like I was saying, these connecting rods, they're a good find as well, because they have a C-clip. They are not a press-in wrist pin. So that means that you can literally pull the clip out, guys, and swap out to aftermarket pistons. So that makes it really easy for that. I do have the balance shafts pulled here. I'm actually going to throw the oil pump back on, and the rear main plate, I'm going to throw that back on. Like I said, guys, I am going to turn this thing into a display motor. So I'm going to completely strip this thing of all the hoses and seals and whatnot. I'm going to finish pulling some of these sensors and stuff off of the head. I'm going to leave the rockers in it. If I do ever need those, I will just come pull these out. But I shouldn't ever need those, hopefully, anyway. I'm going to use this old gasket that I got here and just put this head back on. Obviously, I'm not going to torque anything to spec, guys, or anything like that. I'm just going to get the head back on here. And I'm going to keep the girdle here. I'll probably throw the rear main caps. I'm going to keep the rear girdle out of the motor here. I'm going to just throw the oil pan and the oil pump back on and all that good stuff, guys, and get the head back on this thing. And then later, whenever I have some time, after I get done with this thing, which I haven't even started on this yet, but so I need to. So, but anyway, after that, I'm going to get this thing cleaned up. We're going to turn this thing into a beautiful display motor. And after pulling this throttle body off, I wonder if some of this JB weld that isn't even set up all the way, it's soft to the touch, this could have been what fell into the cylinder, or wherever the original screw went. I have no idea, guys. This thing looks crazy. So definitely more likely that something off of this got sucked into the cylinder. Look at that. Wow. What a shame. Guys, stop doing that. God almighty. in my conclusion that we had foreign objects in the cylinder, and I believe that that's what's caused this damage. You can see it on the other piston here, just a little bit. But this one is just absolutely hammered shot. And the other ones are fine. But I do have the connecting rods and everything all bagged up, ready to go. I got the crank bagged up as well. And I got the camshafts wrapped up. I'm going to get all this stuff boxed up, guys, and get this thing ready to go. But got this thing pretty much somewhat back together. Get the head back on the block with the same gasket that was on it. Obviously, guys, we're just going to be using this thing for a display motor. So with that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this video, then give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you guys haven't yet, then hit that bell notification so you guys are notified every single time that I upload. Thanks for checking it out, guys. I appreciate you guys. Peace.